Thanks, Shots. Thanks, everyone, for gathering here today. Really exciting day for the football club. It's our opportunity to formally announce that Matthew Nix is the new senior coach of the Adelaide Football Club. Might actually ask you to put your hands together for him. That'd be nice.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, guys. Look, it was a really thorough process conducted over the last 3 or 4 weeks. The panel that was in place, Mark Ricciuto, James Bodsey Adley, Phil Smythe and myself, we spoke to a lot of people, not just candidates, but people right throughout the football industry, and we were unanimous in recommending that Matt be provided the role, endorsed in the role. That went to the board of the footy club last night and again was met with unanimous endorsement. So look, now there'll be plenty of questions and feel free to ask away.
Do you want me to kick it off? Feels like I'm back home. I've sort of had a look around the room as, obviously spent 8 years back here with Port Adelaide, and to look around, and there's a lot of media here that I've dealt with over those 8 years, so it's good to be back.
Matthew, what attracted you to the job? Did you want to become a senior coach at any cost or at any club, or did the job have to fit what you...
No. Look, the job had to fit, and this one aligned. I've been ready to coach for a while. I was waiting for the right opportunity, and this was the right opportunity. Where I'm positioned and the style of coach that I am, Adelaide Footy Club was screaming out for what I can bring. So I came in and sat down with the panel and Andrew, and we went through quite a process. They were very professional in the way they ran that. It was a great experience for me, and the longer I sat through that process, the stronger I was in that this was the right fit. They've got a fantastic playing group, a fantastic core group of players that I look forward to working with, and they're also in a position at the moment where they want to rejuvenate that playing list a little, and so we'll have some young players that'll get some opportunity, and I'm really excited about those guys coming through.
How significant is this, Matt, with respect to where the club's at? It's been a pretty tumultuous sort of period since the season ended. How significant is the challenge to make sure that the next period is successful?
It's always a challenge to get to the top. You see the teams that are playing up there at the moment. It's tough to win the comp. It's tough to get a premiership. So it's going to be a huge challenge for us, but it's not one that we're daunted by. This morning I've already had a chat with a number of the players. A few have actually came in today, which is great. They're giving me massive support already. I've only been in the job for a few hours, but we'll embrace that challenge. We look forward to that, and from this point forward, I think it's going to be really positive for the group.
What type of coach are you, Matthew?
Well, there's a number of different areas I like to think I am as a coach, but a lot of people talk about my ability to build relationships. I've been in that space right from the start. I believe if you want to be successful, then you have to have a mutual respect. You have to have a good relationship between both coach and player. Some of the most successful teams around the world, let alone our game, you can see that they've got a culture of mutual respect, working together. They have good people in the organisation. When I say good people, I mean people that put others first as a priority. So I'll be pushing that from this moment forward with our playing group, with our administration, with our football department, that we put ourselves second and put teammates first as well as colleagues. That's the style of coach I am. But over the journey, I've been in the game now at AFL level for 9 years. 3 of those as a senior assistant. I've learned a fair bit off some very respected and experienced people. So I feel like I've added to, I guess, my portfolio as a coach.
Part of that brother culture in Sydney, is that something you want to bring as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's and you learn from where you have success, and we had success at Sydney with the Bloods culture, and I basically just explained to you what that culture was. It was all about prioritising others over yourself. We had a fantastic group of players, as well as as I said, coaching. They empowered us as players, and we stepped up and we were able to get the job done in 2005 I took a lot out of that. What I have seen since, and I've been lucky enough to be at 2 other clubs as a coach, I've seen success come off the back of that as well. The last 8 months with the Giants, who I have huge respect for as an organisation, they've got that part right. I have no doubt we can implement that here.
How long do you think it takes to build that sort of culture?
I think it takes a number of years, but we've already got it underway. I mean, I've had the luxury of talking to a number of people throughout the process, the moment this job became available, and I've heard nothing but positive comments around where the club's at. Everyone I've met so far has fantastic character. They fit in that mould of good people. So I'm confident that we're already well and truly on track for that. And even from the players that I've already had a chance to speak to, the enthusiasm for next year and for moving forward has been outstanding. So I'm really looking forward to working with them.
What's the game style you bring to Adelaide in the next 3 years?
Yeah, I'd like to enhance some of our contest stuff. The boys will be happy with that. But look, I think the game's played, and it's played in around the contest. Looking at the list and talking, as I said, through the last month and discussing, where I believe the list is going, we've already got that in spades. We've got players like, Rory Sloane, who like to put his head in a hole and enjoys the fight. And we've got a lot of young kids who have come through and have already begun to learn from him. So we'll embrace that. We'll play to that strength. We'll embrace the fight, but we'll probably seek it out a little as well. When you look at finals football, it has to be there. Otherwise, you're not going to achieve the ultimate. And we've seen that over the last 4 weeks of this season just gone. So I'll be pushing that with our players and with our coaches, but at the same time, I'll very much open up to our current coaching group and get some thoughts and ideas on where they feel the group's at. The other parties will be very much about that turnover game. It's a game of errors. We'll inflict damage on the opposition whenever we're given the chance, and that's the part that our fans will enjoy to watch. We've got an amazing supporter base, second to none. So I look forward to them embracing the group, embracing the way the style of football that we play, and I'm sure they'll be excited by it.
Nix, you mentioned your other coaches you're going to sort of delegate to. Have you any further idea on how you're going to set up your coach's box with regards to other assistants?
Look, at this point, I haven't had a chance to catch up with them face to face. I've spoken to them over the phone, and we've had brief discussions around it, but it's really about them freshening up over this break. We'll get together well and truly before the players come back, and we'll discuss that structure of what works best. As I said, I'm really open to, they're a really good bunch of coaches, and so I'll take on board anything that they've got, and we'll try and blend that together and come up with what's the best thing that can allow our players to play their best football.
Will you bring anyone in?
At this point, this will obviously be discussions going forward from here. It's a tough one. As part of the process coming in, there's there may be opportunities there for other people. I've worked alongside some fantastic operators, in the coaching space, and learnt from a lot of them. But that'll be discussions that Andrew and I and the group will have going forward.
And you mentioned the list as well. There's just over a day left in the trade period. Can you get on the phone to Reedy and ask for anyone specific? Or hang on to anyone specific?
I won't. I'll let him do his job. But at the same time, Reedy and I have an understanding of exactly where we're heading as a club, and we're on the same page with that. So as far as our list goes, it's exciting. I think it's really exciting. The core group, as I said before, that we've got, the younger guys we're going to have coming in, and that'll be through the draft as well. It's exciting on where things are heading.
Will Brad Crouch be behind your priority to try and keep you in Adelaide?
Sorry?
Will Brad Crouch be behind your priority to try and keep you in Adelaide?
Oh, of course he will. I mean, Brad Crouch is an outstanding player. He's won the best and fairest, in the most recent best and fairest winner, obviously coming off a fantastic season. And you want to keep good people, you want to keep good players around the organisation. So I had a chat to Brad about an hour ago, and to Matt. Look, we'll be doing our best to keep him here, and part of that is us getting the right culture or continuing to improve our culture to get where we need to keep him on board.
What about Josh Jenkins? Matt, he's a high-profile player under contract, seemingly on his way out the door, but seems to be within limbo. Where does he sit in your thinking at the moment?
Yeah, look, it's interesting with Josh. I mean, I know he's requested and looked at trade. It's a hard one for me, and probably not one for me to comment on at this point. I haven't had the chance to talk to Josh. No doubt I will if I do get a chance later today or even the next few days. But it's probably something for Andrew to answer rather than me to go into.
Yeah, and just following on from what you said to Vicky about culture, did you have any questions or concerns for the club or the board about the environment that you were walking into as a senior coach, given the upheaval and the change in personnel and player movement?
Oh, look, they're not questions. I'm not going to look back into the past of where the club's been. I'm looking forward. So when we sat down and we talked through, where we're heading from here, it wasn't about looking back. It was about looking forward. So a lot of my pitch to them was around, what I can bring. I'm really positive about where the club's going to head. By no means will I be looking backwards. I'll talk to our players and I'll get to know my players intimately, and we'll get to a point where we know, where they've been and the experiences they've had. But by no means am I going back to find negatives.
Andrew, just a quick one on how robust was the discussion or the decision making at the pointy end? We heard so many names in the mix, we don't know fact or fiction, but how difficult was it for the board to the panel to come to that, what you said, unanimous decision?
In the end, it was a simple choice, but it was at the end of a really thorough process. We had 3 long sessions with Matt. It started with a presentation that he made to us, and a couple of hours of chatting to him about his coaching philosophy and what he stood for as a person, what he was going to bring to the club. He made in a second meeting had another series of presentations that he provided to us with some further questioning, and then on the weekend we spent a number of hours just talking footy, talking about the club, where we're at, what was going to be important for him to set up around himself, and so the further we went through that process, the clearer it became that he was ready, and he was going to be the best fit for our footy club. And it's funny, the panel, when we got together in making the recommendation to the board, we said if we had to make this decision 6 months ago, we would have still made the same choice. We were clear in our view that he's the right man for the Adelaide Footy Club. He's ready to senior coach, and we're going to be better for having him here.
What made him stand out?
Probably the major thing was how rounded he was as a coach. So whether that's how he sees the game, his ability to develop relationships, strong leadership, characteristics. It was just, he was ready to coach, and that came through the presentations, through the interview process, and through our backgrounding. Whether we spoke to players that Nixie's played with, players that he's coached, coaches that he's coached with, or even football administrators who've been involved in clubs that he's played or coached at, they were really clear in their view that he was good to go, and he's a senior coach in waiting who will make whichever club he goes to better. But it was just, he's got a really well-rounded set of skills that, as I think as Nixie said earlier, had him ready to go once he sort of was able to choose the club that was going to be a good fit for him.
And when you say well-rounded, you're talking outside football as much as inside, in terms of his experience, what it's like outside and inside football?
Yeah, well, it's a tough job being a senior coach of an AFL club, and it does require, I think, a broad set of skills. It's not just about your technical and tactical ability and how you see the game, but he's got that. He's got that in spades, but it is around your ability to lead a large group, the ability to excel in a highly scrutinised and pressurised environment, the ability to develop relationships, with your playing group, with your coaching group. And some of that comes through footy, some of it comes as a player and as a coach, and some of it comes through what you do outside of it. And said Matthew's journey is a little different. He did spend post his playing career some time actually in the financial services sector, so he's worked in the real world as well. So that just adds, I think, to his maturity as a coach, and again has him well placed to make us better.
Does his experience actually in Adelaide make a difference as well? The fact that he knows what the fishbowl is like here in Adelaide, which other people, including Don Pike, have said it's a little different.
Yeah, I think it only helps. We spoke about that a little bit, through the process, and it's good that you come in eyes wide open, and that we've got a large and passionate fan base. We know that it's a it's a highly scrutinised football club and in a football mad state, but we love that and embrace that as well, and that was Matt's reaction to it. He said, I get that, but how good's having 50,000 people at Adelaide Oval? That's fantastic, and how good is it having 750,000 fans who are passionate about this footy club? So whether that comes with some scrutiny and pressure, then so be it. So said his view was, I'll let him speak for himself, but was that he was excited by that and said we took that really positively.
That will be a bit of a strange experience swapping sides in a showdown.
He hasn't rung me yet, Ken. Well, he might have. I haven't answered the phone, but I look forward to it. Actually, I really enjoyed being involved, even as an assistant coach. But yeah, I really look forward to that. As I said before, I have huge respect for Ken, and he's taught me a lot. We taught each other a lot, but it's that'll be an interesting one how that one shapes up on game day. But I look forward to it.
Was there any reluctance at all, Matthew, about taking on this job, given the scrutiny?
No, not at all. No, there was no reluctance. I mean, everyone knows there's been a number of jobs that have come up over the last 12 months. The moment this job became available, I was straight onto it. So I've obviously been preparing for a number of years, but I knew the fit was right. And as I said before, the more we sat down and I got a better understanding of actually what's going on inside the club, the hungrier I was to win the position, because there's a fantastic group of people here, and it's going to take a couple of % for us to turn things around.
And given the change, it's not exactly a clean slate, but is there a degree of excitement knowing you can kind of put your own stamp on things?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, as a coach, you always like to, you've got ideas and thoughts on how the game should and shouldn't be played, and how a team's going to perform at their best. What I have learnt though is you don't know everything, and that's where I really do look forward to sitting down with Rory, sitting down with Tex, and just talking footy, getting their views and their ideas around how the game should be played. Probably more importantly, how they play their best footy. Not only those two, obviously the whole group, and then sitting down with my fellow coaches and discussing what they've seen.
And in terms of going to GWS for the 12 months, what do you feel as though that added to your knowledge of the game, your knowledge of coaching, having been at Port for 8 years prior to that, to have that sort of, again, just a different hit of knowledge and a different hit of a different setup? Yeah,
it reinforced a lot of things. It reinforced that good people are really important. The Giants are full of good people, led by an ultimate leader. Leon's an outstanding coach. Phil Davis is an outstanding person. And I could go through the list, and I have huge respect for him, and I always will. And, that was a tough decision to, I committed for 3 years up in Sydney, and that was my intention. But when an opportunity like this comes up to work with this playing group, I just had to embrace it. But there's no doubt I learnt that culture is really important around a footy club. They didn't quite get it done this year, but I've no doubt they'll be around the mark again.
Were you in the mix for any other coaching jobs that have?
No, not for this year. No, I didn't look into any up until this position.
So what's possible, Matthew? When you look at the ground, I know there's holes to be filled and drafts and whatnot, but what do you think's possible for the on-field next year?
Yeah, you want me to put a win and loss on it, or? The main thing from our point of view is let's get back to playing footy that our supporters will be proud to come and watch. And if that's that you lose a game and the supporters still leave and they're really proud, well, I reckon that's the sign. That's a sign that you're heading in the right direction. You might come up against a team that you just have to clap your hands, and they're at a position at that point that they're too good. But if you give it everything you've got, and it's the way you train, and you're in it together, and you've got each other's backs, and you can't get the job done, there's no doubt your supporters go home happy and proud that they're part of this group or this family. And that's that's the goal for us, I think, is to bring the family back together and that we've all got each other's backs. The results will look after themselves, and so I wouldn't put any limit on where we can finish. But if we got to the end of the year and we had some real pride in the way we performed throughout the year, well, you know, maybe we're pushing a number of teams.
Do you have a first order of business, Nicky?
Yeah, we've already begun that. I've spoken to a number of the players, and that's my first port of call. Get to as many as I can. Obviously, they're on a break. I've got to be mindful that it's only a phone call just to say hello, but to let you know I'm here for you, and put this number in your favourites and call it 24/7. Even if I'm not your favourite, just put it in there.
What stage do you think the list is at? As rebuilding or not?
Oh, I think it's more about rejuvenising it than anything. I mean, we've got an amazing core list of players. If you talk through the core list that they've got here, they still remain. We're losing some experience and moving on some experience, but that's only going to make way for some really talented youngsters to show what they've got. And they've probably been limited, you know, over the last 12 months with the ability to do that because of some of the more experienced players that have been playing. So, for me, that's a real positive. We're probably going to be challenged with some inconsistency, and that's what happens when you play as a younger player. You learn a lot by playing games of football, and if that's the case, it's not going to be an issue as long as that player's playing the way we want to play, and that he's got his mates back.
Have you got a charter then to pick youth above age, or will it just be purely form?
No, there's nothing to do with age. We pick the side on who wants to play for their mates and who wants to perform a particular role for the team. I never look at age.
All good, guys?
Andrew, sorry, can I just ask one about the footy department director role? What's the process here, and do you get Matthew's involvement, or is that separate? The process to fill Brett Bergman's role? Yeah,
look, that process is underway, and look, it's great to now have Nixie in the seat because look, it's an important relationship that he'll have with that person once appointed. So we'll absolutely get his insights, right throughout the process. But it's underway, and I'll hope to have someone in the seat as soon as we can.
Matthew, I just asked you obviously got a young family. They're all for this move.
Yeah, we're coming back to Nana and Grandpa. So, my partner, she's over the moon. Be it we now have to pack up a house second time in 12 months and move again, but the family are excited. We're South Australians, so we're coming home.
And how old are the kids?
5, 4 and 2, so it's easy.
So, you said you were endorsed by the official. I mean, did it enter into your head at all, the fact that, well, I know what Ken's been through and I've witnessed that?
I'd be lying if I said it wasn't something I was aware of. I mean, I'm aware of the passion for footy down in South Australia. So for me, that was a great opportunity because I love footy. I'll embrace that and we'll enjoy trying to win and trying to play the best footy we can.
How big is that contrast, Matt, like between the Sydney where the Giants struggle to make news and Adelaide where it doesn't take much to get the best out?
Well, I mean, they're poles apart, but they're doing a lot of work up in Sydney to build that membership base. And, some success it'll slowly grow. I was there in, 95 when the Swans were in this, not the same position, but we're struggling to fill a stadium. So things... thought that was yours.
It's not a swan, more like a duck.
So the game will grow. The game will grow over there, but it's. I'm not sure it'll get to the level it is here in the SA anytime soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. I know there's a couple of photographers working in the foyer. Thanks very much.
Well done.